Let's watch this one.
Okay, let's talk. So last month, we found out in the most random announcement of all time that the Harry Potter saga is being rebooted on HBO Max. This time in the
Why?
form of a 10-season TV series that will cover all 7 books.
Why?
Something that everybody asked for, I'm sure. The film series
Why?
ended in 2011, which wasn't that long ago, and
No, it
that's
wasn't.
not all, because just a few days after that announcement, it was officially announced that Lionsgate is also in the process of rebooting the Twilight Saga into a TV show as well. That coming just 11 years after the end of the movie franchise.
Okay.
What the
Here are my rules on a remake. Here's the certified Aoife B rule on when a remake is okay. If the original was redeemable, but it sucked, that's when it's okay. Twilight reboot is allowed. You know why Twilight reboot is allowed? Because the originals sucked. Has potential, originals sucked. Remake it if you want. You can remake it, okay? You can remake it. You're allowed to make a movie more than once. It's the reality. I know that we like to get mad about it because, you know, we think about, but like the Hobbit movie, that Hobbit animated movie, and then the Hobbit movie or whatever, Peter Jackson OG sucked, remakes are decent. You're allowed to do remakes if that shit sucked. If the movie was good, you're not allowed to remake it. It's just the facts. That's my rule. That's my rule. If the movie was good, you're not allowed to do a remake. You have to just leave it. It's the definitive way to watch it, and you're not allowed to remake it. And I don't care. I don't care. Harry Potter, the movie, or whatever, the movies, whatever the fuck, okay, was fine. The Harry Potter movies are just good enough that, in my opinion, you don't get to remake them for another, like, fucking 10 to 20 years. They were just good enough of movies. They weren't terrible. They weren't bad. They weren't demanding any there's no demand for a Harry Potter remake. The movies are just fine. We don't need to... If you want to watch Harry Potter right now, you just go watch Harry Potter. If you want to watch Twilight right now, you have to go watch some really shit movies. And that sucks. So I understand if you want to remake Twilight because you don't want to watch a shit movie to watch Twilight, that's okay. But we don't need to, like, have a fucking Harry Potter remake. The first Harry Potter movie came out. Yeah, but if you want to watch a Harry Potter series, you just watch the first Harry Potter movie to the final, and it's fine. It's totally okay. You're, like, chilling. You're okay. You don't have to watch bad movies. You don't have to watch bad movies or even outdated movies. Like, the Harry Potter movies are old, but they don't show their age, in my opinion. Like, I mean, yeah, they show their age. Like, they look like movies that came out 20 years ago. But they don't look, like, bad for their age. They look fine. Yeah, I have always ice cold takes because I'm always fucking right. I never need a scorching take. I'm just correct all the fucking time. Just go watch Harry Potter. It's already there. You don't need a remake. Just watch it. I watched the Spy Kids sequel. Like a week or so ago, like a week or two ago, I watched the Spy Kids sequel. I never talked about it on stream. I never talked about it. I never mentioned it. I never brought it up. I watched it though. How was it? It was atrocious. It was so atrocious. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad. Spy Kids 2? No, it was like Spy Kids 4. All the time. The Spy Kids 4 all the time in the world. It was so bad. It was so terrible. It was so terrible. It was so bad. It was so awful. I didn't watch the Armageddon one, no. I watched the one that came out in like 2013. It was atrocious. Not to say that the original Spy Kids movies were good, because they were also bad, but like this one was horrifying. It was so bad. I never watched Machete either, I'm sorry.
Exorcist sequel coming made. What's a movie that should never be remade?
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That one benefits so much from the time and the combination of like CG and animatronics that any attempt to remake it will look terrible, will fail
it's never gonna be
miserably.
the same.
You don't need to do it. Just leave the fuck alone. I think most movies don't need to be remade, if I'm being completely honest. If it's a good movie, leave it alone. People need to get more in the mindset of remaking movies that had good concepts but were executed terribly.
Yeah.
That's what I just said. Didn't I just say that? Did I not just say that? Did I not? Did I not? Did I not? Please. Please acknowledge me right now. Acknowledge me right this second. Did I not just say that the movies that we should remake are the ones that are good in concept, but were bad? If the movie was good, don't remake it. It's just facts. So yeah, I was right.
I agree with
Like,
that.
Say it one more time.
You don't need to do it. Just leave it the fuck alone. I think most movies don't need to be remade, if I'm being completely honest. If it's a good movie, leave it alone. People need to get more in the mindset of remaking movies that had good concepts but were executed terribly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with
Like,
that.
stop taking good things and remaking them. It's dumb.
And there
It
you
is.
go. Took the words right out of my mouth. Number 7.
I took the words right out of his mouth because I'm smarter than anyone ever. And I'm the smartest person of all time. Ever. Period. Period. Stalker cam move. Okay, stalker cam, stop moving.
Charlie's Angels.
Oh, can I just do this real quick? With Charlie's Angels, they made another one of those? Check this out. Oh. Can we get a Charlie's Angels remake, but can we get it with a bunch of twinks instead? Can we get like Charlie's Angels, but it's like... It's just a bunch of like... It's just a bunch of like hot dudes instead? Can we do that instead?
Agents.
Wait,
Tony's
they did
boys
it!
Solve crimes.
They
and
actually did it. They actually did the Hot Boys, Charlie's
go on
Angels,
various
Tony's
missions.
voice.
And if that sounds familiar, it's because it's literally the exact same premise as Charlie's Angels, but gender swapped. The
Wait, that's
only idea
awesome.
behind this show was to sexualize handsome men in the exact same premise, hoping that it
Pog?
would recreate the success of the original series.
Pog?
But after a backdoor pilot was integrated in season 4 of Charlie's Angels, ABC changed their minds and decided not to pick up the spin-off, and so the Tony's Boys project died shortly after, and Charlie's Angels ended.
Okay, but here's the problem with the Tony's Boys project. Here's the problem. They used these men to be the hot man instead of using 115-pound twinks. Okay? That's where they made a mistake. They picked a bunch of like James Bond looking guys when really what we needed were like skinny fucking twink motors to go
Pick up
in,
the spin-off,
which
and
is
so
would have
the
been way
Tony's
hotter.
Boys project died shortly after, and Charlie's Angels ended its run just a year after that. Okay, now you have the backstory, let's get to the stupid shit. While it started as a popular TV series back in 1976, Hollywood only realized the true potential behind the franchise.
They even had the
when they gave-
perfect movie, Tony's Twinks. Now, can we copyright that and can we make Tony's Twinks? Can we make Tony's Twinks? And I'll be Tony and I'll have my 2 twinks and a twunk. Can we have that? Can we have one of them is the nerd twink, one of them is the goth twink, and the other one is the twunk? What do we think? What do we think? Thoughts? Wait, we're cooking right now. Holy shit. We have nerd twink, goth twink, and twunk. The Chad twink. And those are our three those are our three twinks. Those are our 3 angels. And I can be Tony. And I can be the one that has my like little hot boy. My little hot boys, and I can send them to go do their spy missions. And it would be amazing. It'll be incredible. And we can have what's his name? The guy from Dune. I forget that guy's name. But we can get the guy from Dune to be one of them. We can get the guy that plays Peter Parker to be another one of them. And we can get We can get Timothy Chalamet to be one of them. We can get the guy who plays Spider-Man to be another one. And then for our twunk, we need, I don't know any good, I need to know is Zendaya Tony? No, I'm going to be Tony. I'm Tony. And then we need to like actually get some good representation. So can we get like a hot black guy, please, to be the twunk? Please, I'm begging you. I don't know any actors, but I need like a hot like 25-year-old range. Just oozing sex appeal. And I need him. What are some good lead actors? Like, what are some good actors from like TV shows that I wouldn't have watched that we can think of? Michael J. White. 25-year-old is twunk. Well, we're not perverts here, so yeah, we're not going for fucking younger. We're not perverts. Michael J. White. He's too big. He's too big. What are you talking? I said twunk. Do you know what a twunk looks like? Do you understand? What a twunk looks like. I'm sorry. You don't know what a twunk looks like, obviously. Okay, I feel really creepy doing this. Actually. I feel really creepy looking at this, but yeah, this is the twunk. This is maybe not twunk enough. This is more like twunk body, I would say, maybe. This is pushing it, but this guy has twunk body, I would say. So we need a guy that's like built like this, I would say, to be our twunk. I feel a little creepy doing this is all, but you know, it's fine. It's alright. This is our twunk. He's gotta... I fucking hate furries. So much. I fucking hate furries so much. I can't stand them. I can't fucking stand furries. Oh my fucking god. Get them out of my sight, please. Delete furries.
2000, when it was successfully rebooted into an over-the-top action flick starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy
I'm on the
Liu,
wrong
and
screen. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen.
Cameron Diaz. Backstory, let's get to the
These are cheap as fuck. Yeah, I mean, it's just a sex appeal grab. It's like I mean, the reality is that one of these days, they'll get it right with the reboot, and they'll have I understand why Hollywood might be obsessed with this, like, franchise. And the reason is, all it is hot women. It's just a pornified spy thriller. Like, it is a genuine recipe for success. It's just that apparently it's just not a consistent recipe for success. But like, it doesn't take a fucking genius to think that like hot women doing spy shit will possibly be popular. Like, it's really not. You noticed my tube top? Thank you. I got boobs under here. If you're curious.
Reboot/sequel of the original series, directed by Elizabeth Banks and starring Kristen Stewart.
What they need to do, if they want Charlie's Angels to work, is they need to ramp the fuck up the sexuality of it. It needs to be so blatantly just treating women as a sexual object. It needs to be so blatant about it that it's not even like it, that it becomes funny, that it reaches levels of absurdity. Like the character should need to pick something up from the floor, and instead of picking it up like a normal person, they like do this. Yeah, it needs to be Bayonetta to your camp. Yeah, they do like the splits in like yoga pants to like go down and pick up their keys from the floor, and then they like come up and they and they like lift the keys up and like let out a big moan. Like, it needs to be so over the top, like porn acting level for this thing to be a success. But if they do that, I think it could work. 2000 Angels, it doesn't seem to be that sexual. When I'm looking at this clip thing, like, here, like when I'm looking at the clips from this, I'm like watching these clips. This isn't hot. Do you see what I'm looking at here?
Elizabeth Banks and
These women are all very beautiful.
starring Kristen Stewart.
But this isn't like hot. They're all dressed pretty modestly.
With critics and audiences.
They're very pretty, but there's nothing hot about her. Her outfit isn't hot here. It's not. She's not like she's a pretty woman with a gun.
$1 million in its opening.
But like,
weekend.
this is not super sexual, right? You get what I'm saying? It needs to be like, she doesn't hop up here and pull out a machine gun and start firing. She's at the beach in a bikini, and she's on a speedboat in her bikini with a gun, and she's shooting on a speedboat, like you know, like she's on like a speedboat in a bikini with a gun. It needs to be that, and then like that's what, and then they go and they have to go underwater, so they put on their like diving suits. And their diving suits are these like skin tight spandex suits, and then they like come up and they're like soaking wet, and they're like, they got the butt imprint is like they've patted the shit out of their asses to make them have crazy butt imprints in their skin tight spandex suits, and it's just like they needed to be so blatantly horny that it reaches levels of absurdity, and that would make it a good movie.
And so fast.
High School of the Dead tier of being stupid in how like sexual it is. Like if they go for, and I don't, trust me, I don't like High School of the Dead, but if they ever want this movie franchise to be a success, they need to up the horny level for sure. Like they can't, this is not horny enough.
Still have trouble believing it actually happened. Well, let's hope that this time the message was clear. Charlie's Angels as a franchise is like this stubborn tantrum for all the old folks that run Hollywood who desperately want another version of that show they liked in the 70s.
Kind of like this. What is this? No, this isn't hot. This isn't hot. This is silly, but it's not hot. No, this doesn't work. No, it needs to be like, it needs to be that thing of like I don't feel pretty enough. I got no makeup on, but it needs to be like, oh my god, like I dropped something. Let me just bend over and pick it up. Like it needs to be like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it needs to be like clearly like this gets you gooning Seacow. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I would do that. Yeah, stuff like that. This is stupid and it's not hot. Look at the color. Look at the color grading of this scene as well. Just look at the colors here. It's just the fucking color blue. Why is everything blue here? Why do movies do this? Why do they make their movies look like this? It looks like shit. Who does this? Who sees this and goes, yeah, this looks good? It's like, what the fuck is going on? Why is her skin blue and green? What is she? What? She doesn't even have human colored skin anymore. So I ordered groceries so I could have groceries delivered so I could cook food. But then the driver just texted me hi. Like, why did he text me? Like, why did he just text me hi? What does that mean?
Not gonna
why
work.
Hi?
Just like Men in Black, Charlie's Angels.
Okay, sorry, just texting grocery guy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't hate James Bond.
In my opinion, James Bond is like every like 10 years or something. Every like 10 years having like a bit of like James Bond comeback with like a new actor that kind of represents, because I think something that's cool about James Bond and something that's cool about franchises that are like oh, what's the word, help me, but like multi-generational franchises. Something that's very cool about having multi-generational franchises is the fact that you get to see how like the world has progressed between movies. Like, it's very interesting that, like, James Bond in 1950 or 1960 or 1970 or 1980 or whatever the fuck James Bond was started. It's cool to see James Bond become a character that has a personality, and then now James Bond has a character arc. Before, James Bond didn't need to have a character arc. He just had to be like a guy who fucked women and killed people and was a cool guy. And now James Bond needs to have a character arc in the movie. Now his love interests can't just be hot women who exist to be damsels. Now they have to have their own character arcs. And it's cool to see, like, as time progresses, the standards that these movies have to be held up to gets higher and higher. And I want them to be taken seriously as well. Like, I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be like, what's it called? I don't want James Bond to be the kind of movie that they just release a new one every, like, year, like Assassin's Creed. I want it to be like, every James Bond movie is treated as, this will be a banger, this should be a banger, this deserves your attention, they deserve it. Something about Casino Royale. James Bond plays Baccarat. They changed it to poker for the 2006 one. Yeah, Casino Royale is the best James Bond movie, period, I think. Period. It's the best one. Casino Royale is absolutely fucking goated movie. Easily the best James Bond movie that I've ever seen.
And I do enjoy some of the movies in the franchise, but I'm just kind of over it. I don't know, it just doesn't feel...
No, I think it needs to be, yeah, exactly. James Bond needs to be treated as a piece of art. It's the same with, like, unfortunately, it's the same as fucking, it should have been the same as Sherlock Holmes, unfortunately. Sherlock Holmes, every Sherlock Holmes movie should be treated as, like, a big deal, and you should not be legally allowed to produce a shit Sherlock Holmes movie. And you should not legally be allowed to produce a shit James Bond movie. They should be held to a really fucking high standard, and you should only be allowed to release one when you can make a fucking good one. That's my opinion. Sherlock is public domain, yeah, which is unfortunate, but that's what I feel like. You know? You put Tolkien stuff? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, even like Tolkien stuff, like, there's a lot of these, like, big book series things, like, you just need to, like, they have amazing source material. You can just readapt the source material over and over and over and over. Like, you can do your own Poirot or whatever, Murder on the Oriental Express. You can make a new Murder on the Oriental Express every 30 years. You can make a new one. And that's okay. Because the book is so good that adapting it for a modern audience is okay. Constantly readapting it for a new, younger audience is fine. I think those are examples of, like, those are examples of remakes or adaptations or whatever that I'm okay with. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to, like, if you're gonna remake something, remake a timeless classic with an amazing source material that, like, you can stay faithful to the source material of. And you can readapt it for a modern audience, like Shakespeare. You can do, what was that one? Does anyone remember Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio? The one that was like a modern one? I never watched it, I think. Or I don't remember. I remember watching like 20 minutes of it at most. But, like, you can do shit like that. That's okay. That's, if you're gonna do like a modern interpretation of it, that's fine. Go, yeah, we watched it in school, but I never paid attention. But, like, that's okay to do. That's actually, in my opinion, one of the best. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know if that movie's actually good or not. I don't remember anything about it. I'm not saying it's one of the best movies. But, like, that's one of the best ways to do a remake. If you're going to do it. It's okay to do that. To be like, yeah, we're going to try, really bring this in. And if it flops, it flops. But it's okay. It's a different take on the thing. It's not boring. So, yeah. The worst thing a movie can do, or any media can do, is be boring.
And he was brought in 2023. There has been a grand total of...
We need. I'm serious. People were going crazy for, what is it, Idris Elba to be James Bond. We need a fucking non-white James Bond. Britain is diverse enough. There are not just fucking white men in Britain anymore. There's other communities. I don't care. We need a James Bond with a different fucking background. We need a new fucking James Bond. I'm serious. I don't care. But like we need this because there's stories, and I don't want them to do a James Bond. This is one thing I fucking hate. I hate when movies take characters, they race swap them or they gender swap them or anything, and they don't give them a story that fits with their new race or gender. Like, if you're gonna take a character and you're gonna gender swap them, I want the fact that they're a woman to be like, it should be irrelevant. It should matter. If you're gonna make a character fucking trans, I don't know if it. Now I understand people like will say like, oh my god, I hate when people insert politics into stuff, right? That's like one thing. Like, why can't the character just be gay, but nobody talks about it or it never matters or whatever? Stop forcing politics down my throat. But like, it doesn't have to be forceful, I guess, to be like, yeah, if James Bond was like a black guy in Britain, he'd probably like he'd behave differently, like circumstances would be a little different, things would be a little different for how he acts and operates. Trans-masked James Bond would have a different kind of like, he'd have a different lived experience, I guess. It's just do something different because it's just more interesting. I don't know what else to say. It's just more interesting to have more versions of like these stories. Because James Bond is just the same fucking 5 books over and over and over and over and over again. So just switch it up a little bit. Do something kind of cool. Switch it up. Make it different.
Of 25 Bond films in the main series, the 2 remaining ones being technically unofficial entries in the franchise.
Get something interesting. I just want to see something new. That's all I want to see. Like, the reason that I like the Miles Morales Spider-Man so much more is just because it's new, and I just think that's cool. Like, it's just new. It's not the Rhino and the Green Goblin for the 18th fucking time. It's cool that it's just new. It's just new characters, new stories, new villains, whatever. Like, it's cool. It's just cool.
3 days of the
especially
Bond
when you're doing a
saga.
remake. Especially when you're doing a remake, just give me something a little different. He's not Black Peter Parker either. Exactly. It doesn't. I don't want the person. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess I don't want them to like be like Idris Elba is James Bond, and now he's just Daniel Craig's James Bond, but he's played by Idris Elba. Like, give him something cool to work with. Like, Idris Elba's cool as fuck, dude. Please make him James Bond. Please. He's so fucking hot, too. He's so hot. He's so perfect for the role. I'm begging you. Why does it need to be Bond then? Because it's cool to see the franchise evolve with the current, like, state of the world. Like I said before, in the 50s, James Bond just had to be a hot guy that didn't give a shit and killed people and solved and stopped the villain, and the girl just had to be a sex object. And that was all that it had to be. That's all James Bond had to be in the 60s. And then after a while, they said, okay, our girls are not allowed to be sex objects anymore. They need to be like actual characters. And James Bond doesn't get to have no personality. He has to be a real person and have a personality. And then now we can say like, okay, Britain is like a pretty culturally, fucking racially diverse place. And there's other things we can do with that. We can make James Bond. We can switch James Bond up. We can have him be played by Idris Elba. Everyone wants this. Everyone wants this. Everyone wants this. I just think everyone. I can't think of a single person that doesn't want Idris Elba as James Bond. I can't think of a human being alive that doesn't want this.
Where each
Yeah.
movie
It would be so good. It would be so good. I'm
would
sorry.
be a banger
I want to make him a sex object a little bit
after
in my own
banger
head
that made
too.
people go crazy.